Amina's here and we're going to be cooking a beautiful semolina slice.
Yeah, we love our semolina in Middle Eastern cooking.
Absolutely.
So this dish is known as Basbousa if you're from the North African area, but if you're from the Levantine region of the Middle East, it's also known as Namura.
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
Two names. Just to confuse you even
I know,
more.
exactly.
Yes.
And we're working with two types of semolina here. This is very interesting. That's the coarse one?
So that's the coarse one, and we're also using fine.
Right.
They both bind really nicely, but it just gives that nice texture difference as well.
Fantastic.
Yes. So to start off, we need to get our syrup ready because we want that cool before we actually add it onto the hot pastry.
Okay, so some water in a pot.
Yep. So water and just your typical basic sugar syrup, water, sugar, and we also add a little bit of lemon juice, and that just stops any crystallisation of the sugar.
Is that the only reason you're adding it? It's
That's
not really
the only, no
taste.
flavour, no nothing, just a little bit of lemon juice, and that's it.
That's it.
Perfect. You can, if you want to be a little bit more elaborate, and add a bit of rose water, orange blossom water, but I like it nice and simple because this dish has coconut through it, and I don't want it to, override that taste of the coconut.
Yeah.
We're going to wait till that comes to the boil, and then we'll drop it to a nice little simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then turn it off.
Sounds great.
So to start our actual mixture, we're going to add our two types of semolina, our coarse semolina.
Yes. Very nice.
Then the fine semolina.
Middle Eastern desserts and treats are just so prominent. There are so many different varieties. They just love them, don't
there's
they?
so many, and they differ from different regions.
Yes.
But, they're time-consuming, so that's the only problem.
Not this one, though.
No, this is pretty quick, actually.
Yeah.
Also going to add a bit of sugar to the dough.
Okay.
Of course, our desiccated coconut. This is what makes the dish.
I love all these sort of little treats, particularly in the afternoon. You're like, we just need a little pick-me-up.
Yeah.
A little coconut slice sounds just divine.
Oh, it's perfect. And now we're adding a little bit of self-raising flour to this.
Okay.
Just to, again, help bind, but also to give it a little bit of a lift.
Yep.
So about half a cup there.
Okay, not too much at all.
Not too much at all, no.
Yep. This is just coming up to the boil now,
lovely.
so I'll turn it down. Fantastic.
And ghee. You can use butter, but ghee just gives it a nice brown sort of finish to it. But the other thing is when you are warming up the ghee, don't get it boiling, just enough so that it's in a liquid form like this.
Sure.
To give it a bit of tartness, and this is quite traditional, a bit of yoghurt.
Okay, I like this.
And what you want is a thick kind of style of yoghurt like this that we're adding to the dish.
That's
perfect.
about 200
That looks
exactly.
about right. Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. So I'll borrow that spoon off you. Thank you very much. And we're just going to mix it first with the spoon, and then we'll get our hands into it.
Right. So what's the consistency? It's not a batter.
Like a dough.
A dough.
Yeah.
Right.
But not so much crumbly, but crumbly in the sense of the texture because of the semolina.
Yeah. I guess all semolinas are different, particularly if you're going to be using two styles, one finer, one coarse. So you may need a little bit more yoghurt or a little more ghee, depending.
Yes, depending. And we're just working with our hands now.
Okay.
You need it enough so that we can actually pat it down into a baking tray. And because there's quite a bit of ghee in this, you just a light sort of oiling to it. So as you can see, it's just coming together really nicely. And see how it's just holding its shape, just holding its shape.
That's right,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not sticking to your hands at all whatsoever.
How's our syrup looking?
Looking good. So we've got bubbles there and all that sugar is dissolved.
So you'd want to, leave that on for about another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it will get a little bit thicker and completely cool down before you put it into this.
Is it kind of like the Greek style when they use their syrups and their cakes and their pastries? It's either a hot slice and a cool syrup or the other way around?
Hot slice, cool syrup.
Done.
We're going to transfer that into our baking tray. All we're going to do now is pat it down, all nice and even. Okay. Now, just to make it a little bit tidier, you can just use a knife, and as you can see, you just pat down the edges.
Right.
So you don't get really crusty bits.
You're a bit of a perfectionist, are you?
Oh, not so much a perfectionist, but, a bit neat. And then once this is done, into the fridge for 15 minutes to set. Then we'll slice it up, almonds over the top, into a hot oven for 180 degrees, about 30, 40 minutes. And it's ready to hopefully put the syrup over the top.
Sounds great.
That's it.
All right, into the fridge.
Into the fridge. Thank you. go.
Golden colour.
Nice golden colour. Piping hot. And the key is the cold syrup.
Ooh, look at that.
And be generous with the syrup.
The biggest tip here is what you're doing here. Hot
Yep.
slice and really cold or room temperature syrup.
Syrup, definitely.
What's the reasoning behind this?
It just absorbs a lot better.
Yeah.
And then you don't get a pool of the syrup at the base.
Yeah. So how long would you allow that to just sit there and absorb all of that syrup?
I'd usually leave it for about a good sort of 15, 20 minutes.
Is it one of those slices that it gets better and better if you just leave it?
Yep. And you can see how it's starting to absorb. And that's why we scored it earlier on as well, because it just lets the syrup go all the way to the base.
So usually we let it sit, but you're making an exception to the rule.
It's nice when it's hot. So let's pop this one out.
Look at that.
You can see how it's starting to absorb that through. And look at that, golden under, golden on top.
That's right.
And that one too.
Oh, I was just about to grab that one, but now you've put that on the plate.
Go for it.
I'm going to take that one. Oh, still hot.
Still nice and hot.
Divine.
That's so nice. That's home for me.
Is it? That's my new home. Love that. Cheers, Amina.
Thank you.